Okay.
Hey, Bill and Karen, we're so sorry that we can't be with you to celebrate this milestone in your lives and in the life of your ministry. But we're glad that we could at least have an opportunity to share what you've meant to us and over the years, and to be able to do this through video. So we're grateful for that. For those of you that don't know, I'm Kelly Liebengood. This is Marietta, and we were at Grace in the late 1990s, early 2000s, I guess, whatever. At which time we left Lawrence and moved down to Costa Rica. From Costa Rica, where we served working at a seminary in theological education in Latin America. Then we went to St. Andrews, Scotland, where I did my PhD, and then we ended up in Longview, Texas, and we've been here. I've been serving at LeTourneau University for about, I think we're in 13 years, and Marietta has been serving at a Trinity School of Texas for 12 years, right? Mm-hmm. So I've been thinking a lot about this last line in a poem by Wendell Berry, in which he says, we live the given life, not the planned. And I think about our own lives, Marietta and I and our family, and so much of the good things that have come in our lives, so much of the things that have blessed our lives and enriched our lives, and things that have shaped our lives have not been planned, and they things that we could never anticipate. And I especially think about our time in Lawrence, Kansas. I don't think we anticipated being there long, and certainly when we first started thinking about our lives together, Lawrence, Kansas was definitely not in the plans, and yet we found ourselves there, and it was a massive gift in so many different ways in our lives. I think about how you, Bill, first took an interest in Marietta and I as we worked at Ichthus, and how you supported our ministry and were interested and wanted to pull us into the life of the church. And that's really when we started, or at least me personally, started really seeing the value of church life. I'd been so much of my life had been in parachurch ministry. And then, Bill, you were the first person that ever told me that I'd ever heard talk positively about seminary and about theological education. Most of my life, my Christian life, I've been told that seminary was cemetery, and that if you got too serious about the intellectual part of the Christian faith, that you would lose your faith. And so I was always struck by you saying positive things about theological education, and of course modeling that in the pulpit and then in your leadership. And so it was really from your influence that I decided to go to seminary myself. And that was a pretty important time in my life where God began to direct me more and more towards theological education. And none of that would have happened, I can say, without having encountered you and learned from you. So very grateful for that. And then in the midst of that seminary time, you asked me to be an intern at the church, and a pastoral intern. And I said, "What is that?" And you said, "I don't know, but let's figure it out." And so I did all kinds of different things, adult ministry, the Wednesday morning Bible study, the Book of the Month Club, worship, and introduced the bongos into the worship experience at Grace. That was quite an experiment. But the thing that stuck through all of that was just how you saw things in me that I didn't see in myself. You trusted in me. You encouraged me, and and I can say that really God used that to kind of direct me from our internship time. And after I graduated from seminary, we moved to Costa Rica, and you guys supported us in that move. And as we were involved in theological education, training pastors from all over Latin America, You encouraged us, the church supported us, and you guys even visited us.
That was awesome.
And we have fond memories of Karen in the far back seat with her head between her knees, crying out to the Lord as we drove. As I drove like a Costa Rican through the mountains of Costa Rica. That was fun, and I'll always remember that. So Marietta, what about your thoughts about your experience at Grace? What are some things that stand out to you?
Well, I was thinking about this too, and the primary thing that stood out to me, the first thing that came to mind was relationship. And I feel like both of you in our lives were so very present and real and available to us. And I feel like we also were able to...
Sorry, we have dogs in the back.
The dogs are so loud.
They want to be a part of this too.
Yeah, sorry about that. But so relationally, and then you guys were both so, really concerned about every aspect of our life. And I appreciated so much from you, Karen, Thursday morning Bible studies and being able to grow and really kind of move into in the stage of life that I was in at that time with very young children and wanting to seek the Lord and, having this kind of life before children where it was very like, okay, I'm going to spend time with Jesus at this time and it's going to look like this and it's going to fit in this box. And how you were able to really help me think about being in the Lord's presence all the time. That Jesus is always with us, that the Lord is always present when we're washing the dishes, when we're changing our children's diapers, when we're doing whatever task it is that we are doing, that God is with us and we can enjoy his presence at all times. And that was very impactful to me, especially as a young mom. I also have vivid memories of our children, our older 3 children being baptized, and what an absolute gift that was for us to see that happen and to be present for that. And then, Bill, whenever I think about your sermons, I remember when we first started going to Grace, and you would preach and you would be teaching, and I would be thinking, what does that even mean? What is he saying? And then about every third sentence you would say, that is to say, and then you would explain exactly what it is that you just said, and that you would continue on to preach, and you would continue to talk about something, and you would open the scriptures more, and you would teach, and then again you would say, that is to say, and I would get it in the way that you taught and preached, and I really appreciate that about you. But most of all, I think when I think about the two of you, what stands out to me and the word that keeps coming to mind to me is just willingness. That both of you are willing to serve the Lord. Both of you are willing to be available to him. You're willing to be available to other people. You're willing to join the Lord in the work that he is already doing, that you are coming in to his kingdom work, and that you're willing. And I can't thank you enough for that. You have loved us so very, very well. And I just love you guys so much.
So I had the privilege of just tonight, actually, we were at church and we had I think it's funny that I actually retired before you did, Bill. October 17th was my last day at One Hope Presbyterian. So you outlasted me. And anyways, we were talking about some people in the church were recounting sort of the last 8 years at One Hope and our church, and I couldn't help but notice that like all the things that they were talking about that positively impacted them were things that I learned at Grace, and things that you sort of formed in me at staff meetings, and as we talked about philosophy of ministry and And so, the things that I'll take away from you and have taken away and will continue to use in particular are, I don't know how to really describe it other than just God-centeredness. Like the whole worship experience, the preaching, everything is about, it's ultimately about God. And just a confidence that God is alive, that he's powerful, that he works and acts, he initiates with people. It's his work that we're joining in. We're not working, in spite of him or trying to cajole him. And so just that confidence in God's power has stuck with me. And I'm super grateful for that. I'm just grateful for your friendship, grateful for, I consider Grace my spiritual home. I think it's the place where I found, my home, my place in a spiritual family. And it was a community that was so welcoming to us, and a lot of that comes from your leadership, both you and Karen, and so we're grateful for that. So we're excited for you guys, though, in this next phase, although I must say I'm a little worried. Bill, in particular, you're one of the only people that I know that doesn't have a hobby, because your hobby was Bible study and prayer and eating breakfast with people and preaching and preparing sermons. So I wish we had some suggestions for what you should do. I mean, pickleball would be interesting.
There's a court across the street from our house.
Yeah, but I think the biggest thing we would encourage you for your hobbies to come visit. So just know that you always have a place here in Longview, Texas, and we hope to get to see you more in these years. But more than anything, that we love you guys and are so grateful for the impact you've had in our lives. And just thank you. And thank you for your faithfulness.
Yes, amen.
All these
Amen,
years.
amen.
It's a tremendous testimony.
Yeah, and the testimony just to us, and to be able to see into our children, and to be able to see, it's all true. It's all true. What you have done, Lord, is true, and we've seen it lived out in your life. So we're grateful for you.
We love y'all. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.